before we get started, I had an idea, and I hope you guys are willing to do this with me. I want to take a small moment and ask that we take a second to reflect on Bonnie. So I invite you all to close your eyes, take a deep breath, picture her as we have a short reflection. Okay, thank you guys. First, I want to acknowledge and thank Roger and Kathy Guinee, Bonnie's eldest son and daughter-in-law. They were the boots on the ground from the moment Bonnie moved into Terraces. Roger wrangled communication, doctor's appointments, bills, and so much more. And he did it all with the help of Kathy, who provided such nourishing meals and support when we came to visit. Thank you, guys. Bonnie's granddaughter, Ela, had a really special, close relationship with Bonnie. And she was with Bon as she took her last breaths and left this world. I don't think it was an accident. I had just left Bonnie after being with her for over 4 hours, and 10 minutes later, she decided, I want Ela to be the one here with me, helping me through this. We are so grateful for the care, nurturing, love, and kindness that Ela showed her grandma, and indeed showed her aunts and uncles throughout these past years. Thank you, Ela. And one final word of gratitude goes to the Terraces staff and residents, some of whom are here today, and thank you guys for that. Bonnie's 6 years living here were some of the happiest she had known, and that was because of all the people she met here and all the friends she made. You enriched her life and made her smile more and laugh more. She often said how she loved living here, and she spoke about many of you. So thank you all for being the kind people that you are. And now I'd like to ask Cecelia Guinee and Doug Cooper, Bonnie's daughter and son-in-law, to come up and lead us in the Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who is in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Your kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, and deliver us from evil. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we would like to invite Roger Guinee, Mary's oldest son, for the eulogy.
As I prepared my remarks, I asked myself, how do I summarize my mom's life of 99 years in just several minutes today? So there are so many stories, experiences, and memories of my mom. In order to keep it brief, I'll touch on only a few. And I may have to speed it up because I was told to keep it short. So Mom was born, as you know, Mary Frances Forquer, on September 1st, 1925. She was born in Bremerton, Washington, to Charles and Frances Forquer, the second of 5 children. To put this in historical context, this was only 5 years after the 19th Amendment giving white women the right to vote. She grew up in a time when women didn't have many rights, and so that was a significant one. Soon after Mom was born, one of her relatives came and met her as a baby and called her a Bonnie baby. And as many of you probably know, the word Bonnie means beautiful and healthy. It also has roots in the Scottish language, which was her heritage along with the Irish. Bonnie became a nickname that stayed with Mom the rest of her life. Now, after graduating from high school, Bonnie attended University of California at Berkeley. This was during a time when less than 5% of university students were women. And Mom's mother, Grandmother Forquer, was very supportive of Bonnie attending the university. And so Bonnie did graduate from UC Berkeley, not with an MRS like a lot of people in those days, but with a bachelor's degree in accounting. When doing family genealogy research on Ancestry, we found a university photo of Mom listed as Bonnie Forquer. She was a member of the UC Berkeley Catholic Newman Club, and she was also the religious chairman for the club during the spring semester of 1946. I did not know that till she never really talked about it, but found it on Ancestry. In 1948, Bonnie married my dad, John Frances Guinee. They were introduced by my dad's Aunt Maggie, who coincidentally, or maybe it was kismet, introduced Mom's parents almost 30 years before when they were both in Washington. Now, I was born in San Francisco in 1950, and soon after my parents moved from San Francisco to Honolulu, Hawaii. And it's possible I could have grown up in Hawaii, except for the fact that when the Korean War started, my dad joined the Navy again, and he moved the family to the Philippines, and then Guam, where my brother John was born, to Maryland, where Grady was born. And then after the war, my parents moved back to California. We settled in Hayward, where Sharon, Cecelia, Michael, Margaret, and Larry were born. Did I leave anybody out? Okay. So after my parents' divorce, Mom bought a house in Alameda. Now, she went through kind of a bohemian or hippie period during the 60s, you might remember. She drove an old car with a psychedelic paint job, and occasionally she would let me borrow her car. So I was also a hippie in the 60s with long hair, and I had dropped out of college. I won't tell you what else, but one time I'm driving her psychedelic car, I get pulled over by the cops, and now I'm freaking out, right? So after checking around inside the car, the cop gave me a fix-it ticket for paint on the tail light. So I got off easy. Whew, that was close. Thank God I didn't have any weed in the car. Anyway, Mom also worked as a real estate agent in the 60s and 70s. She was a businesswoman. It's my understanding she and Dick Reese started a real estate business called Richmar Real Estate. And a good friend of mine, Nick and Pat Barando, bought their first house from Mom in Hayward over 50 years ago. So it's really amazing memory. I also remember a period in her life during the 70s when Mom participated in personal development and self-awareness workshops and trainings. And she encouraged me and my siblings to also participate, and many of us did. I will say one of my personal and really meaningful memories from Mom's time in Alameda is after I had moved back to Hayward. I met my wife, Kathy. We started dating. And then we started studying and investigating the Baha'i Faith, which was a religion very few people knew about. Well, Mom was one of the few adults from her generation that didn't criticize or be judgmental of Kathy and me, and would ask us about the Baha'i Faith. If she had a friend visiting, often she would say, "Hey, Roger, tell my friend about the Baha'i Faith." And we would. And then Mom even invited my friend Larry Lindner, who lived down the street on Clinton Avenue, to come and show her a slide program about the Baha'i Faith, which was very cool. So during that time, her love and support meant a lot to Kathy and me, and really appreciated it. And I will say this, in addition to being open-minded to these spiritual and meaningful conversations, Mom was a lifelong learner. She was always interested in things. Okay, so I will continue. After Mom sold her Alameda house, she moved around quite a bit and eventually began working as an accountant. I don't remember what year she first moved to Santa Cruz. It was a while back. I do remember when we would visit Mom with our kids. She was welcoming and always invited us to stay at her house. Many of you may remember we had her 70th, her 75th, and her 80th birthday parties there, which was a lot of fun. And it seemed to me Mom was very happy during that time in Santa Cruz. Later, for reasons I don't have time to get into, she moved back to Hayward. And while she was living in Hayward, we had her 90th birthday. This was called Tea with the Queen, and Margaret's got some great photos in the slideshow from that day. Sometime after that, Mom moved back to Santa Cruz, but it wasn't the same as the first time that she lived there. Much had changed, and she sure didn't seem as happy. Then in 2019, Mom fell in her apartment, broke her hip, and the family decided to move her here to the Terraces of Roseville. She moved here in April 2019, 6 years ago, almost to the day. At first, Mom wasn't sure if she would like living here. I remember taking her to meet the intake nurse for evaluation. And the nurse was so sweet. She assured Mom, I know you're going to like it here. It's really good people. They'll take good care of you. And Mom's like, we'll see. Kind of like that. I don't know if that's a good impression, but it kind of sounded like that. I will say, though, it didn't take long for her to really enjoy living here. She had her ups and downs, and yet she seemed to be the happiest I'd seen her since she lived in Santa Cruz the first time. Mom made new friends, received good care and good food in the dining room. She worked on puzzles, read books, poetry, watched TV, movies, all the things. And then she also had great visits, as Margaret said, from families and friends, and enjoyed when we would say prayers with her. You know, Margaret, thank you for thanking all the Terraces staff. I will move past that as well. You did a great job, and I want to thank, in addition to them, you and my other siblings, my children, my grandchildren, my nieces, nephews, my cousins, Aunt Margot, Uncle Jim, who took the time to come visit Mom. And especially thank Kathy, my wife, for opening our home to our family when they came to visit Mom. So Mom started hospice care in January 2024. That's over a year ago. I didn't say 25. It was over a year ago. And they took such good care of her. Hospice was wonderful. And when they asked Mom about last rites and whether she wanted the hospice chaplain or a Catholic priest, Mom chose to receive her last rites, her anointing, from a Catholic priest. And Cecelia arranged it. In a way, it was a full circle moment back to Mom's Catholic roots. And her anointing was beautiful and special to be part of. As I think and reflect about Mom's 6 years here and all the love and support that Mom not only received, but she gave. She even laughed at my jokes for most of the time she was here. And that's amazing. Anyway, what I will go on to say, though, I want to conclude by encouraging all of us to tell each other, take a moment to share how much we appreciate you. It's important to say I love you, show kindness and compassion. And please don't wait until you're in your 90s to do the family healing. It's so important. So please do it sooner rather than later. And I want to end with this verse from the James Taylor song. I can't sing, so I won't try to sing it. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are going to be much better if you only will. So thank you, friends, for giving me a few minutes. And I want to introduce Jason Guinee, one of Bonnie's grandsons, one of my sons.
Peace and blessings to all my relations. Nice to see you all together, gathered here to celebrate Grandma Bonnie. And like what was shared, the honoring of Terraces and all the relatives here, I also want to honor the land acknowledgement of the original inhabitants, at least as far as we know in the history, our contemporary history. The original inhabitants of this land were the southern Maidu, the Miwok, the Nisenan, and the Patawintun tribes. So we're here on their land too, so we call it home. I grew up in this area. I'm grateful to be back in my hometown. I currently live in the southwest in Deneta, commonly referred to as New Mexico. So I'm here to see you all. I'm happy to see all your faces. And I want to also honor Grandma here with a prayer. So we believe in intercession on behalf of the spirit, the soul of Grandma Bonnie, and in that way, all of us connected through the spirit way. So this prayer is going to be for Grandma, And wherever she's at in the mystery, this great mystery, this divine reality, wherever we go after this one. O Creator, O you whose mercy hath encompassed all, whose forgiveness is transcendent, whose bounty is sublime, whose pardon and generosity are all embracing, and the lights of whose forgiveness are diffused throughout the world. O Lord of glory, I entreat you to cast upon your handmaiden, who hath ascended unto you, the glances of the eye of your mercy. Robe her in the mantle of your grace, bright with the ornaments of the celestial paradise, and sheltering her beneath the tree of your oneness, illumine her face with the lights of your mercy and compassion. Bestow upon your heavenly daughter, O Creator, the holy fragrances born of the spirit of your forgiveness. Cause her to dwell in a blissful abode. Heal her griefs with the balm of your reunion, and in accordance with your will, grant her admission to your holy paradise. Let the angels of your loving kindness descend successively upon her, and shelter her beneath your blessed tree. You are verily the ever-forgiving, the most generous, the all-bountiful. Hojona Hasli, Hojona Hasli, Hojona Hasli, Hojona Hasli. I would like to invite one of Bonnie's granddaughters, my cousin Ela.
But yeah, a lot of the reflections I have echo some of the things that Margaret and Roger said. And when I was reflecting on it, sometimes when we remember someone, we try to like smooth out the rough edges. But my grandma Bonnie was many things to many people, and her story wasn't always simple. She wasn't perfect. She faced struggles throughout her long life, and some of those struggles did leave their mark. Yet, in these last 6 years here in Roseville, with the support that she needed, she was able to thrive and truly be herself. Her true essence, I would say. She was funny, insightful, loving, and honest. And I got to know her in a way I never had before. We had real conversations about many things, including poetry, what it was like to be a woman in the 40s, pushing back against expectations and gender roles, and even the afterlife. While we talked, I painted her nails. It was kind of our thing, our ritual. She would usually pick out this specific bright pink color, which you might notice on some other family members today in her honor. A few days before she passed, I painted her nails this favorite color for her one last time. Grandma Bonnie knew how to make me feel welcome. Her face lit up when I walked in the room. She was always happy to see me, even if I woke her up from a nap. She was surprisingly strong for a little old lady, and she would squeeze me super hard and say, "I love you." I was honored to be able to hold her hand and remind her in her final moments that she too was deeply loved. Because of and thanks to the support from all of you, her family and friends, and the staff and family at Terraces, I got to experience the best of my grandma. The version of Bonnie who became not just my grandma, but also my friend. Grandma, as odd as this is to say, I'll think of you every time I see Baby Bell cheese balls. Also Frappuccino. And you might notice those will be snacks on the table in the back later. But I'll especially think of you every time I paint my nails or see this specific color of pink that you loved. And I do believe that your journey is continuing peacefully somewhere. Maybe you're enjoying a cup of tea, rocking your bright pink nails, and surrounded by the love of those that have gone before you. Wherever you are, Grandma, we are sending you so much love. Now, one of Bonnie's other grandsons, Dustin, is gonna read a poem for us.
All right, y'all. Well, so I'm Bonnie's grandson, Dustin, and on the last day that I saw my grandma, I was able to read her favorite poem to her, The Cremation of Sam McGee by Robert Service. And if anyone's familiar with that poem, it's a bit dark. It's about a guy helping another guy get cremated, his buddy dies on the trail. So I wanted to write something for my grandma, and I didn't want it to be so dark. So I call mine The Liberation of Guinee. So it goes like this. There are strange things done in the noonday sun by the students of the blue and gold. The Berkeley hills have their secret thrills that could connect you with lost souls. The Castro Valley lights hold hidden insights from angels circling around the bay. Was that day I felt whole at Lake Chabot when I saw the liberation of Guinee. Now, Bon was from Bremerton, Washington, then settled in Alameda, for it was her folks that served on Navy boats, raising a natural-born leader. No, her soul did not seek gold, she seeked independence and knowledge. Got an accounting degree from UC Berkeley when women didn't go to college. In the 1940s, when minds were black and white, much like their cars, for herself she'd think painting her car pink while reaching for the stars. A good Irish Catholic girl, she entered a new world and Bon married John. They had 8 kids and, flipped their lids and leading the separation. Bon bought a house without a spouse, getting into the real estate biz. A single mom hanging on a psalm, trying to raise 8 kids. Now, divorce was shunned by the Catholic nuns who were keeping spiritual score. Yet, a free spirit like Guinee didn't trust God indoors. So she raised her kids and taught them to live with an open mind. Blacklight parties with free-thinking friends was the kind of vibe she liked. Starting her own company to be free, homes she would buy and sell. She could flip a spot without a thought and fix the place herself. Working day and night, her kids turned out all right, only a screw or two loose. She did her best, the mom put to the test with love and some gin and juice. Yes, the kids left home and began the roam that was going from town to town, from Hayward to San Leandro, when Winlock her house burnt to the ground. Desiring to be free and live near the sea, preferring reading over booze, she would drink black tea with friends and family at a mobile home in Santa Cruz. She entertained guests and made them feel blessed, waxing poetic on movies, books, and life. Always ready to lend a good read to a friend, a library volunteer, escaping the strife. The conventional path felt more like wrath, seeking liberation from a dungeon. She had dreams, but like her favorite comic, Maxine, she was an artist, philosopher, and part-time curmudgeon. A well-read girl, she traveled around the world, from Puerto Rico, Munich, and Paris, with her kin going back to Ireland to live in Aloha with her family in Maui. As her health declined, a new home she'd find, making new friends her heart would fill, finding a boyfriend at a place with a fuzzy face at the terraces of Roseville. As the years passed, till 99 she'd last, determined to make it a century. She had her last rites, but before she saw the light, her name was Guinee, but they called her Guinee. In a dream, I saw her soul at Lake Chabot, asking me to cremate her last remains. I said, I know you want to be free, Granny, but you ain't Sam McGee. Yet, she got cremated all the same. But before she went, it was heaven sent that her nails would be painted pink by her granddaughter with her till the end as she reached Valhalla's peak. There are strange things done in the noonday sun by the students of the blue and gold. The Berkeley hills have their secret thrills that could connect you with lost souls. The Castro Valley lights hold hidden insights from angels circling around the bay. Was that day I felt whole at Lake Chabot when I saw the liberation of Bon Guinee. That one's for you, Grandma. Hope you got a good laugh out of that. And to close us out, I want to have my cousin Cory come up and do a song.
The moment I wake up, before I put on my makeup, I say a little prayer for you. I'm combing my hair now and wondering what to wear now. I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, stay in my heart, and I will love you together. Forever, we never will part. Oh, how I love you together, together. It's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me. I run for the bus stop. While riding, I think of us still. I say a little prayer for you. Work, I just take time. And all through my coffee break time, I say a little prayer for you. Forever, forever, you'll stay in my heart, and I will love you together. Forever, we never will part. Oh, how I love you together, together. It's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me. Darling, believe me, for me there is no one but you. This is my prayer. This is my prayer. Forever, forever, you stay in my heart, and I will love you together. Forever, we never will part. Oh, how I love you together, together. It's how it must be to live without you. Would only mean heartbreak for me.
To the captain, to ask him for a boat, to visit a friend on another ship afloat. He gave me a dory and said, row it like a man. You can go away and never come back. He doesn't give a damn. Woo!
I heard